live here at Molineux. We've got JB at Molineux for us ahead of Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Manchester United, and it's coming up to you in round about 7 minutes from now. Some cracking games over the weekend in the Premier League, and also a cracking couple of matches actually yesterday that I managed to watch. First of all was the one at Bramall Lane, where Sheffield United got a Premier League win at Bramall Lane, and a very good win in fact. They fully deserved that victory, and then Leicester got a fully deserved 1-1 draw at Stamford Bridge against Frank Lampard's Chelsea. Elsewhere yesterday in the world of football, in the Championship, Sky Bet Championship that is, Reading, who were bottom of the table at the time of kick-off, took on Cardiff City at the Majeski Stadium, and they won 3-0. George Puskas with a brace, and John Swift got the other goal in that game. In the National League yesterday, Notts County drew 1-1 with Wrexham. Dundee took on Aberdeen in the Scottish League Cup second round, and that was a 2-1 win for Aberdeen. East Fife lost 3-0 against Rangers as well at East Fife in their Scottish League Cup second round tie. In the Scottish Cup qualifying, a different competition to that one I've just mentioned, Colville Park lost 4-0 to Whitehall Welfare yesterday, and there's been a few under 21 matches, or under 23 matches now known as, at over today and over the weekend. I'll bring you those results up at half time. Team kickoff is in around about 5 minutes from now, so what I'll do, I'll hand over to your match commentator who's in position in Molineux, and that man is John Stuttall. But before I turn over to him properly, I just want to bring him in a second and just a quick brief chat on the Burnley match from the weekend, if I may, JB. And just want to ask you, what were your thoughts on the Kyle's performance? I thought they dug in well and deserved at least a draw in that one. JB, what about you?
Good evening, everybody. Hello, Russ. I don't think this was a game, really, from Burnley's point of view, that was going to make or break our season. It's obviously it's disappointing to lose at such a large margin, but such a short margin. But what you've got to consider is we are playing against top quality opposition who have made quality signings in the transfer window. I'm talking about David Luiz, the midfield player that was man in a match in a lot of people's eyes, and I thought he was too. Nicolas Pepe, not many people can show Ben Mee a cleaner pair of heels, but Nicolas Pepe seemed to do that. It was just a really... It was a good display. I thought they were really good, and I thought they were deserving of the 3 points, Arsenal. Let's not dig up any daisies on this one. I think we have to be realistic in what goes on. As regards that, I think we've got to go here to Molineux on Sunday. I think that's going to be a tough game, but I think we'll have a point. It depends on how Wolves play, and then they've got a European game, I think, against Torino, haven't they? So it'll be difficult to really tell if we can get at least a draw. I mean, I spoke to Mike Harniman, one of our new commentators, and we'll be bringing him in shortly into the season. So certainly after the week's break that we've got ourselves. It's just he reckons that we could get a win, but I'm not as optimistic as he is about our chances down there. I'm being rather cautious at the moment, and I think I just honestly think that what will be, and we'll just have to take what comes.
Yes, I just get your thoughts on Burnley before we start bringing the match commentary then. Wolves last season won 2 and drawn one of their last 3 meetings with Manchester United, knocking them out of the FA Cup last season again, which I brought to you as the commentator on that day. But now they're hoping to try and get another win and make it 3 wins and 3 wins from the last 3 meetings with Manchester United. And to describe all the action is the man you've just heard. JB is in position, and JB can bring us up to date with all that important team news as the players are out on the pitch ahead of kick-off here at Molineux. JB, it's all yours for the first 45 minutes. I'll be back at half-time. JB, it's all yours.
Thank you, Russ. Good evening, everybody, again, and welcome. The teams are just out on the tunnel. There's about 3 minutes to go to kick off here at Molineux. Wolves, who have got the Indian sign over Manchester United in recent seasons, of course, as Russ was saying in the build-up. Last week, just then. VAR, by the way, is Paul Tierney, and I'm just going to keep the officials very, very easy for you now. Paul Tierney is our man in charge, and I'm still writing down notes as I speak. 4th official is Andy Bradley. But a terrific atmosphere as the teams break away. They've shaken hands. So let me give you the all-important team news, as Russ says. And let's bring you first up to date with the Wolves lineup. A strong lineup, even with Thursday's match against Torino in mind. They've still gone quite strong with Patricio in goal for them. Then it's Bennett, Connor Goldie, the captain, Willy Boly and Doherty, Dendonka, Neves, Martinho, Johnny Otto, and then Jimenez and Jota, the real live wires up front. On the bench for Wolves, Neto, Katune, Gibbs-White, John Ruddy, Saiss, Venegari and Traore. Manchester United, 1 significant change. Daniel James, who scored the 4th one, you may remember, last week against Chelsea in the game at Old Trafford. He starts tonight, so let's give you that lined up again. Wan-Bissaka and Maguire keep their places, so it's De Gea in goal. A back 4 of Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. So the same back 4 essentially as it was against Chelsea. McTominay, who also had a terrific game at Old Trafford last week. Pogba and James getting his first start, and it's a front 3, same as last week, of Lingard, Rashford and Anthony Martial. In fact, Rashford's got 2 goals this season, Martial the 1. Mata, Pereira, Young, Romero, the goalkeeper, Greenwood, Matic and Tanatsabi are the substitutes. The referee tonight comes from Yorkshire. That's John Moss. The 4th official is Andy Madley, and the VAR referee is Paul Tierney. Well, the wheels on Ollie's bus are in cruise control at the moment. 4-0 in their first game of the season. Daniel James got the 4th for those goals to add to 2 that was scored by Marcus Rashford and an extra 1 scored by Martial. But it didn't really... I thought 4-0 flattered Manchester United. I didn't think they were that great in the first half. They don't have a particularly good recent record, as Russ was alluding to, at Wolverhampton. And the pitch looks in excellent condition. The weather conditions are very good. I left to Molineux about midday, and I've got to tell you, it was raining and sun shining. It was all sorts of weather. Sun rained a lot, but it's dried up a bit now. But the pitch looks in excellent excellent condition here on the JB Twitch channel, and we're all set to go. It's Diego Jota to get us underway. And what a tremendous atmosphere. Also, the game from Saturday, that will be up on YouTube later tonight, as well as this one. And the Villa game, we'll try and do another. The Villa game we won't be able to do because of personal reasons. So I'm sorry about that. But we're underway then here at Molineux for the final match before we have a little bit of a 2-week break before bringing you live action, because I'm going to be on holiday. So this is sort of like my last shift before I go on holiday for a week or so. But I will still keep the rest of the football. But let's hope it's a good game, and let's hope we keep our goal every game going, because every commentary that we brought you live or delayed has always had goals in them. We haven't had a goalless draw yet. Let's hope that's not a bad omen. Wolves in the old goal, attacking the goal to our left, incidentally. Manchester United in red shirts to the right. So both in traditional colours, which will make distincting the two teams quite simple. 11th meeting, Wolves have won 3, including the last game. Manchester United have won 6, and there's been 1 draw. And that was at Old Trafford last season. Russ is on. He'll be doing a little bit of the social media stuff as well, comments as well as the presenting. You'll hear from him again at half time, giving all the Scottish scores, even giving the Scottish scores out. We don't usually do that, only on a Saturday afternoon usually. So Russ is running amongst it. He says he's got some under 23 games that's been played, but this is the one that really counts today. This one, the final game of the weekend, our first Monday night outing here on the game. Coming to you live here in the Midlands. At the moment, nothing really significant happening. We've had nearly 2 minutes. Wolves won 4-0 in Europe and went through 8 goals on aggregate, and have outscored opponents now in their 4 Europa League games, the qualifying games, by a massive margin of 14 goals to 1, and that was the goal they conceded was against Crusaders in that second leg over in Ireland some 3 weeks ago. As James comes forward, tries to play a 1-2 there. The ball breaks to Wan-Bissaka now on the right-hand channel. Back to Lingard, who's just dropped a little bit deeper than the opening exchanges. Then the ball back in there again towards Danny James. Wan-Bissaka now touching it back. He had a decent debut. So too did the man on the ball here, who's going to receive the ball in just a second on the far side of the centre circle on halfway, Harry Maguire. He had a decent enough debut. Cleared one off the line in the first half against Chelsea, I seem to recall. It's a terrific atmosphere here at Molineux. It always is on a night like this. And here's Johnny Otto keeping it in on that near side. We were here at the start of the season for their first game against Crusaders, and they made, despite winning 2-0 and having a good run of the ball, they certainly wasted a lot of clear chances. But mind you, that was the first competitive match they played, and that was way back in July. Molineux was the venue where we kicked off our season of live coverage, which is going to take us all the way through to the Euros at Wembley next year, which finish at Wembley next year, the Euro 2020. And what an occasion, and what a tournament that's going to be there. So a very long season, and of course we'll hopefully have you there for the ride and everything else. And it's going to be a great 12 months of football ahead on the JB Clark YouTube channel as well. Champions League kicks off a whoop today as well, with the group phases, and the draw for that I believe will be made later on as well. As we just there's nothing significant happening. It's just Manchester United having possession, but Lingard has run forward. At the moment it's still goalless with 4 minutes of the first half played. And Wolves won 2 of the 3 meetings in League and Cup last year. Beat Manchester United in the 6th round of the FA Cup, which got them through to that semi-final against Watford, and they lost out in that one, having led 2-0, we remember, at Wembley, when I felt they should have gone on and won it at that point. But they didn't, and but they still finished 7th, and that was still a great achievement for Wolves. Financially backed as well, but they were terrific togetherness, and Nuno, and he's a terrific manager, terrific coach. Ball out of play on the far side of Wolves. Coming up to 5 minutes gone. Nothing to report so far. It's Manchester United's throwing actually, and Wolves drew 0-0. It was a game that had a little bit of VAR controversy, with Dendonker's goal being controversially ruled out. For a handball decision. It did look a handball, but then we had that controversy at Manchester City when there was an accidental one by, it was reporting the build-up to Jesus' disallowed winner. John Moss will have to have his wits about him, and all the pressure now after all that debate will be on Paul Tierney, the referee down in London. Why can't... I've always said this about VAR. If utilised properly, it can work well. I'm a great advocate of it, by the way. And a lot of pundits have talked about it being a nuisance, and a lot of people saying it's wasting time and stuff like that. But I am a great advocate for VAR. You know, its purpose really is to be served to try and get the right result or the right decision, I think, on the given game. And I think if we can get the right decisions in these games, it will be tremendous. Manchester United coming forward here on the far side, but well marshalled there by Conor Cody, a former Liverpudlian, but he gave the ball away, but Wolves have won it back just on the edge of their own penalty area. Now here comes Diego Jota, but he's lost out there this time to Wan-Bissaka. Manchester United spending heavily now. They look a little bit more assured, I feel, in defence. We'll just have to see how this one plays out. Ball out of play on the far side, and it's a throw-in to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Scott McTominay, who had a terrific game, I thought, in the midfield. Certainly wasn't feared. Certainly didn't show any respect to the Chelsea midfielder, and I think Lampard may have made a little mistake last week by trying out the young lads in that game. But I thought they played better on Wednesday in that Super Cup match in Istanbul against Liverpool, and in the end were very unfortunate to lose out on a penalty shootout. And I have to tell you that the abuse that Tammy Abraham got was disgraceful and shouldn't be allowed in today's society. Anyway, back to the game now, and it's James, and he goes down. Referee doesn't give the free kick, and it's Wolves on the break here, no foul. And here's Jota now up towards Jimenez. Jimenez through the centre, deep inside Manchester United territory. Evades one challenge, evades another, evades a third, still has possession. Ball out towards the far side. Needs to be a good cross though. Got a deflection, it will be a Wolves corner. Great football there by Jimenez, showing how good he is. He's worth to the cause. The number 9 there for Wolves took it upon himself to go right through the centre of the field, takes on Maguire and absolutely whips him. And then the ball out to Doherty was knocked behind for a corner. Got 13 goals in the league last season, Jimenez. Signed him permanently from Portugal, Benfica. And the corner to be taken here by Martinho, another Portuguese lad there on the far side. So when it comes towards the penalty area, Wolves attacking the two-tier stand away to my left-hand side. Another one ball out towards the far side. And I tell you what, Wolves some 30 years ago had a very, very poor ground with very poor standards, but 30 years on, you look at the ground now and it's stupendously superb. Meanwhile, Daniel James is on the break. The man they got from Swansea gets a crossing from the left, and it's turned away for a corner now to Manchester United at the other end. nearly 9 minutes of the first half gone. It's still Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 0. Just in case you join us late, it's me, JB, John Stuttard, in the commentary box tonight, and Russ Verdin is back in the studio holding it all together. So certainly roles reversed from Saturday. It's actually nice just to be doing some commentating and not all the presenting. It's nice actually to have that burden taken off. Sometimes I've been doing a lot of the presenting and a lot of the commentary, so it's nice to have someone else have a go at it. As the ball comes into the penalty area, into the 6-yard box from the corner, I think it was Shaw who took it on the near side, I should say. Wolves concede another throw. Level with their own penalty area on the far side, and it's going to be a Manchester United ball. 9.5 minutes gone here at Molineux in the final Premier League fixture. As Russ was alluding to, draw at Stamford Bridge yesterday, 1 apiece. Good point there for Leicester. I think Frank Lampard needs to be given time, actually. I think some of the criticism his Chelsea team are taking at the moment, I think is a little bit unjust. They play really well in spells. Just need to be a bit more coy maybe in defence, and maybe they'll be okay. 10 minutes gone, still 0-0. Manchester United are a throw midway inside the Wolves half on the far side. And of course Sheffield United winning yesterday 1-0 against a very poor Crystal Palace side. It just didn't really get going. Well, Sahar was in and out and almost clashing with Chris Wilder down there yesterday. Here's Wan-Bissaka now, just to the right hand side. Now James offers a bit of support on the right hand side. Good football this. Oh, and It's a good idea there to get it round the corner there from Wan-Bissaka, but he just couldn't pick out a man. In fact, it was well charged down. This could be our final actual live commentary on Twitch before we go back full time to YouTube at the end of the month. Due to finish, I think my 90-day ban's due on there. But live streaming is due to end at the end of this month, by which time we'll be back off holiday and about ready to carry on commentating on the impending the weekend. We're back from holiday on the 30th, hopefully back broadcasting commentaries on the 31st, the weekend of the 31st, and we'll let you know in advance what games we'll be picking by then, and then that is for sure. We'll be telling you late Friday evening what we'll be choosing to bring to you live that weekend. This is the final game now for a couple of weeks, and it's going to be a bit of a wrench, taking a little bit of a holiday at the start of the season, but needs must. It might do me some good because I've been at it since July commentating, and it will give everybody a chance to recharge the batteries and go again. And of course, we'll have the England qualifiers coming up in September as well, so England are going to get a good look in now as we build up to the European Championships. Should be able to qualify from their group pretty easily. They've got 2 winnable fixtures coming up, England, so we'll just have to play that one by ear. But we'll be supporting the England national team this season as well. And should they qualify, should they not, if they do end up qualifying for the playoffs, we'll bring you both legs of an England playoff if they do, in the unlikely event they reach a playoff, but I think they'll qualify very easily out of their group. Excuse me. So much nice English talent now. You're looking at the bigger clubs. Manchester United starting to use more now. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer try to follow on from the Ferguson legacy by trying to bring talent through the youth academy there. Bit old-fashioned to say youth system, as we've had 13 minutes here at Molineux and still we haven't had a real opportunity yet. Here's Lingard playing the ball forward towards Wan-Bissaka, who made a good forward run, but it was well cut out there by the Wolves defence. And then the ball out of play for a throw. Kind of Cody in back doing the mopping up at the back. Just a little bit apologies for the voice. It's just a little bit hoarse. Been a long weekend. Could be able to get hoarse in the next couple of days. And just for the record, I'll be in Blackpool, sending it up with the family, and it should be a nice little break for me and a break away from YouTube stuff. And of course, we'll try and fit a EFL weekly, and if we can't, don't despair. We will be back after the break to do that. And at the moment, neither side really look like troubling anyone at the moment. It's not been a classic in terms of chances created. Some pretty football being played through in the midfield, but nothing considered at the moment. As Wolves, as I've just seen, good start here. Finished 7th in the Prem last year. Ipswich Town were the last promoted team to finish higher. They finished in 5th place back in 2001. 0-0. And at the moment, these are the teams that finished 6th and 7th. In fact, Manchester United finished 9 points above Wolves in the final table. Wolves in turn finished 3 points ahead of Everton. Which tells you how far they've come as a team in such a short space of time. It was only less than 18 months ago. Just over 18 months ago, they were just getting out of League Two. Which tells you the quick progress that this club has made under the new ownership and obviously Nuno on board. It's really been a real period of it's been a real rise back to the top again. Same could be said about Sheffield United as well how they got there as the free kick comes in from the far side, then the shot back in, a little deflection comes to Jota now on this left hand side, but he's fouled McTominay inside the penalty area. It'll be a free kick to Manchester United, and it gives them a chance to clear their lines as we come up to 15 and 3/4 minutes of the first half, and still no score. Nothing really in way of clear-cut chances so far in the first half. It's been at best tricky. I think the teams are playing entertaining football. They're just not getting the right ball into that final third, really, that could test either defence, and both teams have been guilty in the midfield of giving the ball away a little bit too easily. I'm not going to lie to you, it's not been the greatest of starts, but there's still room for improvements. Past the quarter of an hour mark, it's Wolves 0, Man United 0 at 16.5 minutes. Wan-Bissaka has conceded a throw-in down on the near touch line, almost in line with the Manchester United penalty area inside the United half to Wolves. Ball is knocked back once again to Willy Boly. Now Cody to get it forward, and he's giving that one some oomph, but he's giving it straight to Luke Shaw, who takes possession on the edge of his own penalty area, finds Harry Maguire, who does the same, finds Pogba, who now finds Lindelof. Same back four as I said started against Chelsea last week. Was played on the same day, of course, and were denied what would have been an important win for them against Leicester. But as it stands, it's Wolves on the attack now with Jota. Are we going to see the first real opening of this first half? No, the cross was a little bit disappointing from Jota, if I'm being totally honest. It won't have affected Wolves too much, giving themselves the extra day with the game being put back to Monday for television reasons. They were scheduled to play on the Sunday, but as I said, Sky Television put the game back to Monday because they chose it for live coverage, and hence why we're here all tonight. As Richard Keys said nearly 27 years ago, Mondays is an extension of the weekend, and it is in some respects. Anyway, here's Rashford now, far side. Rashford takes on his man and whips him for pace. Oh, does him 2 or 3 times and gets the cross in, and came Martial inside the 6-yard area. He just couldn't get a flick on it. That was the first real genuine threat on either goal. And Marcus Rashford was at the hub of it all on the left-hand side. Gets the ball here, runs something like 5 or 10 yards to the byline, takes on his man here, whips him once, turns him again twice. It was a lovely skill, a lovely cross. But Willy Boly just got in front of Anthony Martial there, just to put the Frenchman off there as he came in at the right-hand far post. And it went away for a goal kick, but better, a little bit more excitement coming into the game. We've had to get a new ball because Larry Patricio, quite rightly, he's not happy with the toughness of the ball. Of course, it needs to be at the right sort of centre of gravity and pumped up to certain standards to make sure that the ball gets its sense of gravity and things like that, and make sure that the ball rolls absolutely superbly and perfectly. The ball was not certainly playable, so we've got a good ball back in now. It's pumped up and to its maximum, and we've got a game on. We've got the game back on here. 20 minutes almost gone. It's Wolves 0, Manchester United 0, and the game live. Coming to you here on the Touch channel. This could be for the last time before we go back to YouTube in about a week and a half's time, and it'll be a relief to get back to YouTube because what is more is it's a tough old business. We have more subscribers than we do here on Twitch, so it means our viewership will go through the roof when we go back live. We've had some decent figures for certain games during our time here on Twitch, and I have to say thank you to everyone who signed up, but YouTube will be calling us back very soon, I hope, and the remainder of the season, I hope, including the European Championships, will all be streamed live back on YouTube. But it's been a nice little distraction to keep bringing you the commentaries and bring them live here on Twitch. Wan-Bissaka back in once again. Lingard gets the ball back on halfway. We haven't uploaded the game yet between City and Tottenham, but we will upload that along with this one later on, and we'll upload them as a double upload for you. So then you get double dose of the weekend's football on YouTube. So apologies for the YouTube users for that, but we will get them up very shortly. 20 minutes gone. Apart from that one-half chance created by Rashford for Martial, it's not really been much else. Here's Shaw though, trying to burst down the left. Cody was rise to the danger and got it away there for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves have not yet created a genuine chance that I would actually say here. Pogba trying to get the ball forward. There's a foul there on Pogba. Might have made a little bit of a meal of it there. Dendoncker just making sure he's okay. Russ commentated on the big match. This is just as big for so many reasons. There was a foul there, though Pogba probably over milked it a bit. It was a foul there by Dendoncker. Pogba's back on his feet again. Interesting comments from Sean Dyche on Saturday about the amount of players going over and saying that under the new laws for diving they get a yellow card, it gives them an extra opportunity to cheat. I actually agree with those sentiments, and that's not because I'm biased. It's because I think it's the truth. We want honesty and integrity in the game, and we want discipline for the offenders. Anyway, free kick to United towards the near side, I should say. Maguire was there on the right hand side, but he couldn't get a good purchase on the header. And Jota now has it on halfway for Wolves on the left hand side, but loses possession. Here's Daniel James, came on to great effect to score that 4th goal last week against Chelsea. Don't forget, as is always standard for most of our live matches, except the 3 o'clock games and the delay ones, or any cup finals, we'll have the JB MLTM. But we'll tell you more about that. Russ will tell you a little bit about it at half time, and I'll certainly bring you that during the second half. But at the moment, no shots at all, either at goal or on target. It just shows how frustrating it has been that neither team, with the quality they have on the players, the quality and calibre of all the 22 players out there, they ought to be doing an awful lot better in the final third, it has to be said. Here's Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. Infield of Pogba. Pogba turns. Spaced by 2 players in old goal. 23 minutes gone in the first half. It's Wolves 0, Manchester United 0. You'd be not too surprised to hear at the moment. Here's Anthony Martial, who could have actually flicked a lovely little vicious cross from Rashford. He's probably been the brightest spark in this first half so far as an attacking sense. Shaw now going forward, and Rashford now waits in the centre. The United still moving it about on the left, looking for the opening. McTominay playing it in. Lingard was then lurking. The ball comes out to James. James almost sells Wan-Bissaka down the river with a back header, but he's worked it to James on the right hand side. He did a magnificent job, Wan-Bissaka, and then James is fouled there by Martinho, I think. Or is he? I think he's going to book James for diving. He is. A yellow card to Daniel James for simulation. Let's just look at the replay. VAR might have a word or two about that. Oh, he's dived. Absolutely criminal there from the former Swansea man. There was no contact whatsoever between Martinho or James, and James was trying to con the referee, has conned himself into a yellow card, and I've got little sympathy for people that do that. Definite dive. Absolutely definite dive. You can't do that in the game. And then Maguire and Lindelof almost getting in each other's way, and Lindelof's back header almost looping over De Gea's head. We almost had an own goal at the other end. And then it went in favour of Wolves. It's just starting to come to the boil a bit. Wolves now, Manchester United now. We're coming up towards the 25th minute mark here at Molineux, and if there's no, I don't think Panini's on VAR tonight, so Russ might have to do a double shift as VAR man and presenter tonight if he is. But we'll be anyway. But at least one person will be doing the VAR check-in. But at the moment, there's been nothing to check. Everything's been quite clear cut, and it's been an easy sort of commentary so far. There's nothing really happening at the moment, and both teams are playing nice, pretty football, nice passing movements. but are just not having the inclination or being rather too patient or too timid to really attack in that final third, which I think they ought to be doing. There's a game of football to be won here, 3 points, and at the moment neither team is just going backwards here at the moment. The ball's now back to De Gea when United could have had a great situation down the right hand side. It's not been a classic by any means, but stay with us. It can get better. It's Wolves 0, Manchester United 0, 6th and 7th in the Premier League last season. Manchester United somehow finished 9 points ahead of Wolves in the table. But Wolves had the better of the 3 games, a 0-0 at Old Trafford, or a draw at Old Trafford last season, followed by 2 terrific home victories in both League and FA Cup. So in the last 3 games, Wolves have certainly had the Indian sign over United. In fact, it was a 1-1 draw at Old Trafford, I'm told, as McTominay gets the ball out to Shaw, far side. Wolves have got Burnley, Everton away and Chelsea at home. As the ball forward and the shot goes in, it's a goal inside the penalty area, and it's hit into the net on the left foot by Anthony Martial, and he celebrates over on the far side with the Manchester United fans, and Manchester United go in the lead. Just the shot in the arm that the game needed as a contest, because up until that point it didn't really look as if it was going to really simmer up at all. Good work down the left-hand side. Shaw playing a good ball in there. Martial definitely onside as he hits this with the left foot, just to the left of the penalty spot as he hits it. Good interplay there between Jesse Lingard. Rashford was also involved, and Luke Shaw. But Martial, a surefire shot. He could have had a goal himself earlier on from across from Marcus Rashford, but United probably in a little bit more, a shade more braver to go for it in the final third than what Wolves have done. And I think on that sort of basis, I think Manchester United deserved the lead. And the wheels are turning quite nicely. I know they're going to Solskjaer's bus. There's no doubt about that. And that's a cool finish. 2 goals for the season for Martial. Needed that. 27 gone then. The deadlock has been broken and we're not going to have a goalless draw. Still in this in our live matches so far this season. I think we only brought you about 3 last year. One of them came here at Wolves in that dogged draw that Brighton got, which sort of preserved their Premier League status effectively at that time. And it was also out with the likes of Cardiff not winning and teams like that. Anyway, here's Jota now as Wolves look to hit back. His cross is a poor one, and he's had a play behind for a goal kick. So, good moment there for Martial. Terrific left-footed drive into the net. Patricio just could do nothing about that. It was a surefire shot, really, from Martial. There's no doubt about that. Scored against Chelsea, as I said, last week. And that's 2 goals for him this season. Puts him level with Marcus Rashford as United's top goal scorer. And that was a great moment there for him, as United look to put the wrongs of avenge those 2 defeats here in League and FA Cup and really avenge them well. Here's Wan-Bissaka. Good running there. James now wants it. Remember, he's on a yellow card for simulation. And Russ has just given us an interesting stat. Manchester United, when they've scored first, they've only lost once since August 2015. So, on that statistic, it's going to be an uphill climb even for a very talented and very good, well organised, good attacking Wolves side who just haven't attacked enough really in the first half to really merit being certainly on parity or let alone winning the game. They do have a free kick, however, fouled by Jesse Lingard, 15 yards inside their own half, however, though, Wolves. So it's still a long way from Manchester United's goal at the moment. It's the Manchester United fans you can hear in the background that are singing away at the moment. Wolves have got still a bit of time to change all that. We're coming up to the half-hour mark of the first period. And here's Dendoncker now on the far side for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Back in Europe for the first time, in fact, since 1980-81. And they got, I think, about 4 rounds in the what was then known as the UEFA Cup. They won. The reason they got there was that time they won the League Cup the season before. Shilton and Needham and Andy Gray nipping in from their mistake to give Wolves the cup. But they played well on the afternoon. From what I've been told about the game and from clips I've seen of it. Anyway, here's Jota. That remains their final major trophy, actually. The League Cup win in 1980. They had a great team then. Bradshaw in goal, Hemling Hughes, George Berry, Mel Eves and Willie Carr, who perfected that donkey kick many years before with Coventry City. Meanwhile, Wolves are winning a corner. Well, I'm talking nostalgia here because I might have had to have used a little bit of that during the commentary because it's been a very timid first half, but at least we've got a goal now, so at least we can't complain we've not had a goalless game. Wolves have a corner, pass near side, left hand side, and it comes towards the 6-yard area, a little flick on, and Jimenez tries the shot. It was well charged down by a wall of red inside the penalty area, and it didn't hit a hand. And there was no great appeals anyway for any potential handballs from any of the Wolves players. And we play on now. It's Manchester United now on the break with McTominay, who's looked absolutely superb in the 2 games I've seen him so far. I saw him against Chelsea last week, and I thought he was magnificent. He had a magnificent game. A lot of people singled him out for praise last week. Here's James. He got a nice bit of praise last week, but he's got a bit of criticism for his simulation tonight from certainly me anyway. I'm a great admirer of some of the Manchester United players, but when one or two of them start simulating, it just draws the line a little bit, doesn't it? Here's Wan-Bissaka tussling there on the near side there with number 19, Johnny Otto, who hasn't really been in the game so far. Otto, I've been very disappointed with him because he's the sort of player that likes to attack. Then there's another foul there from Johnny James. It's a 3-kick to Manchester United there. Jimenez getting a little frustrated there and just hacking out at him a little bit. Just a 3-kick given then inside the Wolves half. It's been played back now to Maguire inside his own half. I think John Moss, and he's not one of my most favourite referees, as previous commentaries on previous games with him in charge of anything to go by. But I have to say, for once, I have to be honest, he's had a good match up until this point. And you don't often give I don't often give referees like Jonathan Moss too much praise, but tonight he's controlled the game actually reasonably very well, and he's made all the key decisions and he's made them all very, very correctly. So credit to him so far, at least. But there still might be one or two controversial moments yet. It always is when John Moss is in charge. Anyway. Back to the game, and it's still 1-0 to Manchester United, and here come United again on the break. Ball looking towards James inside the centre circle. Now on to Martial, the scorer. James is to his left. He'll go right here. And he'll find Jesse Lingard. Lingard now yet to score this season for Manchester United. And Wan-Bissaka now infield to Pogba. Pogba now turning. Finding McTominay, who's had a magnificent game. He's been very, very controlling, I think, in the midfield, along with Pogba and one or two others. Wolves have just not gone into it at all. United looking very comfortable when they do tend to attack, and I think they've been, apart, left and right flanks, I think they've been marvellously impressive. I think Shaw on one side and Wan-Bissaka, I think, looking absolute dynamos down either flank. As we go past the 34th minute of the first half, we're coming in towards the closing stages now of the first half pretty rapidly, even though it's been a bit dogged and turgid in places, but we've got a goal now which sort of livens up the game. But now it's just pass and move. Oh, that's a wonderful ball to Danny James. Now can he pick out a man in the middle? No, it's a poor cross, and away by Conor Cody for Wolves. And now Willie Bowie can clear up and bring it away. Now brings Jota into the game. Now it's Jimenez. And they're trying to get players forward here. Den Duncan now has it on the near side, and he has to go back to Rui Patricio, the Portuguese international goalkeeper. Wolves now with all their attacking flair just haven't really turned up to the party as yet. 10 minutes to go to half time here, plus any time added on before we hand back to the studio. Russ Burden is sitting in that chair watching on, also acting as our VAR man for both halves. I'm going to do some running repairs before the second half and just collate 1 or 2 notes. Whilst I've got the opportunity to take 15 minutes, usually take 10 when I'm commentating. I can take the full 15 today with Russ in the chair, which is quite a nice little change for me. Still 1-0 to Manchester United. You're not missing anything. Both teams just guilty of giving the ball away a little bit in midfield. Now Neves gets a long ball forward, but Maguire was under it very, very well, and he was good spot there. Russ is the VAR man, and John Moss has got most of his decisions spot on. Anyway, inside the penalty area is Martial, but it was well marshalled there. Once again by Conor Cody. He did magnificently well. Stood up, didn't slide in. Lesser defenders would have just been tempted to slide in there and risk giving a penalty kick away. James goes down again, and this time gets the decision. Johnny Otto thinks he's simulated again. That just reminds you that James is already on a booking for Mr. Minis, and we see the England women's manager in the crowd here tonight, Philip Neville, taking in a game. His women's team did a magnificent job, in my opinion, getting into the World Cup semi-finals and just coming up short against a very dominant USA side, who had Megan Rapido in excellent form throughout the tournament, and quite rightly was given the Player of the Tournament award, I felt, in that particular tournament. And she's got made a bit of herself a nice bit of fame for her performances in the tournament, and good luck to her, I say. Anyway, back in the men's game, it's 37 gone. Wolves 0, Manchester United 1. This is Aaron Wan-Bissaka now for Manchester United. Infield once again to Jesse Lingard, who's just taking a bit more of a deeper role in this first half. McTominay now on towards Rashford. Rashford turns, looks for support, and he's got it in James, and the ball didn't get through to James. Johnny Otto intercepted but concedes a throw. Harry Maguire has had a decent first half so far. 37 minutes gone, or 37 and a half gone. Here at Molineux on a pretty of a breezy but chilly but dry night. Wolves 0, Manchester United 1. The game coming to you live on a Monday night. Our final game, live match for a couple of weeks until the end of August. Live here on Twitch. Bolly gets that away for Wolves just by his own penalty spot to the right of that penalty spot. He hooks it away right-footed. There's a little game of head tennis in the midfield, but again the ball squirms away. Some big games coming up this weekend. Liverpool Arsenal at 12:30 lunchtime. Saturday lunchtime. Of course, Burnley are at Wolves next week, or in the next round of fixtures. And Liverpool have to go to Burnley at the end of August. That'll be certainly interesting. And there's a player gone down there on the near side. It's Dendoncker, I think. And there was a little bit of a skirmish going on there. This will be interesting. Now, what does the referee interpret there? There is VAR available. In fact, it's Eastern time. I apologise. It's 5:30 in the UK. Sorry, I haven't been able to look at the fixtures. We're talking American time there. Liverpool Arsenal is on Saturday tea time. Anyway, there was a bit of a skirmish involving Dendoncker and Pogba. Now then, Moutinho, in fact, was the man gone down. Pogba was in there too. Now, did Pogba stand on him, and was it accidental? That's going to be the question that we're going through. There's no punishment for Paul Pogba. I think the VAR people have just come to a conclusion, maybe when they're just checking it out. I don't think it was anything malicious by Pogba, and there's no action going to be taken against Pogba. But I think it was a free kick anyway. It was accidental there. I think it was the right decision actually from VAR, Russ, I have to say. And despite the fact that John Moss is getting the bird from the crowd, mainly about 95% of the stadium made up of old gold, as Shaw goes forward, but again good defending there this time from Wolves, and it will be another corner. 5 minutes to go to half time here in the Premier League. Coming to you from Molineux, commentary from from John Stutton here on the JB Twitch channel. And it's going to be another corner here. Russ Burling is poised in the presenter's chair, back in the studio. As Maguire is forward for this corner. Deeper one this time. Maguire's up inside the penalty area. Flick on there, almost came to Martial again. McTominay's flick, and this time it fell for the other number 9, Raul Jimenez. But he's been forced into a corner by 2 Manchester United defenders, or attackers if you like, Marcus Rashford and Jesse Lingard. Studio's based in London, not far from the VAR truck. Yes, of course, he's down in the smoke today, he's old Russ. Taking in the signs and the Beefeater sounds and sights and Bookhouse and the Beefeater Bears. Lucky for him, I'm in Wolverhampton. Anyway, back to the game. It's Manchester United winning 1-0. No disrespect to Wolverhampton, it's a nice place. Inside the penalty area, here comes Martial from the crossing from the far near side. It's hooked away once again. Header back with interest by Maguire, but that's going to run out midway inside the Wolves half for a Wolves throw in. Midway inside their own half on the far side. So 3.5 minutes just under to go. Connor Cody and referee John Moss just having a little bit of a chat and coming to an understanding maybe about the Pogba incident, I suppose. But I have to say it's not been the best game, if I'm being totally frank with everybody, and I'm in a position to say that because it's not really been a great 45 minutes, but nevertheless we do have a goal. And it's the Manchester United fans you can hear in the background that are singing their hearts out. It's been quite quiet, apart from the odd decision going against the Wolves that's not going down too well with certain sections of the Wolves bands. Well, people are expecting them to finish a similar position despite the fact that they've got the added burden of Europa League football next season, excuse me. Europa League football next season. So they've only got 1 point to show for it at the moment. They're on for nothing at the moment unless they can really raise their game, possibly in the second half. What they can't afford to do is go 2-0 down. It leaves them with a real mountain to climb. Here's Martial, who's got the opening goal, and whose goal divides the two teams at the moment. McTominay to Shaw. They've had a great success down that left and right hand flanks. Manchester United have been very impressed with the way they've attacked and have a chance here to go above Manchester City in the Premier League table. There's a foul there, and that's not gone down too well with the Wolves fans either. Foul there on McTominay by Neves on the far side. It's inside United half. Let's just have a look on replay. The way he catches in there, no doubt about that. Definite decision there to Manchester United. 3 kick to United, 2-0 up. Sorry, 1-0 up. Getting ahead of myself yet. They haven't even scored a second. Just to bring you up to date on the foul count, 8 fouls to Wolves, 4 to United. And we're inside the final minute of normal time as the ball comes into the penalty area, tapped by Maguire, and it comes away again. No, I got the mistake wrong. No, you didn't miss a goal. It is still 1-0. I got ahead of myself there. The problem is when you've watched a real dull first 45 minutes, it does mess with your brain a little bit. It's 1-0, I can guarantee you that. There's been no further scoring. Just a slip of the old commentator's tongue, Ross. Right, anyway. But not as calamitous as the Mane thing in the Super Cup last week. That was awful. That was an awful piece of commentary by me. We're going to get stoppage time in about 15 minutes, and we'll get word from that. Our fourth official tonight is Andy Madley, and we'll get a view on that so far. Portieni's had a good game in the VAR truck, and we're told it's 1 minute according to Russ, and that's exactly what's flashed up on my screen now. 1 minute, and that's what's flashed up on the board of Mr. Madley as well. So 1 added minute, and I think that's fair enough in the circumstances, and I've not been too much stoppages. There has been the odd free kick or two, but at least, to be fair to both teams, they've tried to get on with the game quickly, even though it's not been the best in terms of entertainment. I think Wolves will be disappointed they haven't done enough to really warrant being on parity at the moment with Manchester United, their more illustrious opponents, and that's not taking anything away from Wolves. As Wan-Bissaka gets the ball back, David De Gea will kick away. 15 seconds to go to half time. And now a chance now for inside the penalty area for Martial, and the ball got away from under his feet. The ball then screeched into the penalty area where goalkeeper was able to pick up. It was a ball back pass by Bennett of all people, but it didn't lead to anything. We played the 1 minute and we're still playing on here. So Jonathan Moss is going to allow a few seconds, but no more. There goes the whistle then for half time. Well, if I was being totally honest, as a spectacle, it's not really been a classic. But that said, Anthony Martial's goal was a real crackerjack, and I think Manchester United's best football have come down both left and right flanks. Wolves really haven't been much in it at all, which is disappointing from their point of view. I think they're capable of a lot better at that, and I think Nuno has to read them, I think, the right take at half time, that is for sure. But it's Martial's goal that's deciding things here at Molineux. I'm going to take a break, and we're going to go back down to London and rejoin Russ Burden with the scoreline at the moment at half time here in Wolverhampton at Molineux. Wolverhampton Wanderers 0, Manchester United 1.
Thank you very much, JB, and as it says, not very much happening in terms of possession. Well, in terms of chances in that first half, but that Martial goal was the difference. And it was a very well-worked goal as well for Manchester United here, over there at Molineux. A few under 23 games been happening today, a few results in, a few games still being played right now. So I'll bring you up to date with the results which have come into us first of all. And JB, if you're still all around and can still hear me, you may want to stay around for just a couple of moments, because Burnley under 23s were in action earlier today. They took on the Coventry City side, and I'll bring you that result in a second. But I'll start off with the Professional Development League 2 results for Monday the 19th of August. It was Leeds United 3, Millwall 2. Arsenal striker Eddie Nketiah on loan at Leeds United amongst the scoreline. Scorers for Leeds United: Pascal Struijk, also got on the score sheet, and Matthias Bogus won it for Leeds deep into stoppage time. Millwall's goals one came from the penalty spot and one came no long after that. The penalty spot one was initially saved, but then it was put in on the rebound. Regarding the Burnley game, they took on Coventry City at Turf Moor this afternoon. Bailey Peacock foul for a Leeds United man, and now at Burnley, goalkeeper made his Burnley debut, made his first start for the Clarets as they drew 1-1 with Coventry. Danny Drinkwater also made his debut. Elsewhere, Wigan Athletic 1, Bristol City 4 is another result. And the latest score is Sheffield United 1, Watford 1 in Premier League 2. All latest: Chelsea 3, Liverpool 0, Leicester City 1, Blackburn Rovers 1, Southampton 0, Derby 1, Fulham 1, West Bromwich Albion 3, Swansea 1, Aston Villa 1 is the latest there. And a bit of news from League 1. Sky Bet League 1 and Bolton Wanderers have postponed their match against Doncaster Rovers tomorrow over welfare concerns. Bolton say tickets for Tuesday's match will be valid for the rearranged fixture, and refunds are available on request via their ticket office. And the news which I've got up here on the BBC, via the BBC website, says Bolton have postponed Tuesday's League 1 match against Doncaster Rovers amid welfare concern for younger players. Wanderers, who are in administration, fielded just 3 senior outfield players at Tranmere on Saturday, and a club statement from Bolton said, whilst the threat of further sanctions is obvious, nothing can be allowed to have the impact on the welfare of such a young group. The EFL, the English Football League, and Doncaster said they were unaware of the decision before Bolton's announcement. Bolton boss Phil Poxton said after the 5-0 loss at Tranmere that he had contacted the EFL, the English Football League, to voice his concerns about the player welfare. Luke Murphy, Jason Lowe and James Weir were the only 3 senior outfield players available for the game at Prenton Park a week after starting 11 with an average age of just 19 years old drew 0-0 with Coventry City. Bolton's statement added, with so many senior players injured or unavailable, the squad has performed heroically. Bolton announced they were postponing Tuesday's 8 o'clock British summertime kick-off with just over 28 hours notice. The EFL said it understands the challenging positions the club will currently find itself in whilst negotiations continue over its purchase. The league added, however, it would have been expected the club to first interface or been in contact with the EFL, giving it an opportunity to consider the application to postpone, and consulted with the club's opposition, Doncaster Rovers, before making the announcement public. The EFL remains acutely aware of the ongoing risks in this challenging and complex situation. As to integrate of the competition, a Doncaster club statement said Bolton Wanderers have postponed this game without the agreement of Rovers or the EFL, and we're surprised to learn the news via Bolton's social media. We have a lot of sympathy for Bolton's plight, but we've prepared for this game as normal and fully expected it to go ahead. We will work with the EFL to understand the situation and keep supporters informed as we can when we're able to say more. So that's a bit of news there. Bolton are currently in administration and they're awaiting completion of a takeover by Football Ventura. Lawrence Bassini failed to buy the own club and was awarded a court blocking order on blocking the sale on the 8th of August. That was amended and adjourned 6 days later, allowing a takeover to go through, which is yet to be completed. The club's administrators added, this is with real regret and a deepening sense of frustration that we've been forced to postpone tomorrow's fixture, said the club's administrators added. But after consultation with the club's medical staff, it was obvious to call on them for another match without an adequate break with demurral to both welfare and development, which cannot be allowed. Following recent events, the legal position of various parties has altered, which means a delay in completion of the club's takeover. In this situation, it is very difficult to attract available players to the club. I'll be discussing the implications with the EFL, but in the meantime I would call on all parties involved with the acquisition of the club and hotel to end this total delay and secure once and for all the future of Bolton Wanderers. Bolton's final game of the 2018-19 season, which was in the Championship against Brentford, was postponed after Bolton players refused to play because of unpaid wages. So that's a bit of news coming out of League One today. And a bit of cricket news for you while it is half time in the match before we hand back over to JB for the second half. And England have named an unchanged squad for the third Ashes test against Australia, which begins at Edinburgh on Thursday. James Ellison, England's bowler, is making progress with his calf injury and will play for Lancashire's second 11 in a 3-day match beginning tomorrow, Tuesday. England say the 37-year-old will be assessed on an ongoing basis. So the England squad for the third Ashes test is in, and this is how it looks. Joe Root is captain, Jofra Archer, Johnny Bairstow, Stuart Broad, Rory Burns, Jos Butler, Sam Curran, Joe Denley, Jack Leach, Jason Roy, Ben Stokes and Chris Wilkes. So that's a bit of cricket news for you. And after Gabriel Jesus complained about his goal was disallowed, he called for a review of the new handball rule, but the football's lawmakers have declined against it, saying they will not have a look at that rule. After the match, Pep Guardiola said he would have had to accept the VAR decision, and he added, "It's tough because we scored a goal late on, but ask for people, not me." So that's what Pep Guardiola had to think about after Man City's late goal from Gabriel Jesus was postponed. So at half time then at Molineux, as JB brought you the commentary on the first half, Wolverhampton Wanderers are trailing by a goal to nil against Manchester United, and we'll be heading back across to JB very, very soon for the start of the second half once the teams are back out onto the field of play. But while we wait for the players to come back out, I'm just going to bring JB in actually. And JB, you must have heard me mention there during that bit of information about Bolton's postponing the match against Doncaster Rovers. Just another update from Doncaster Rovers. They have issued, they've just put out a tweet at 8:52 p.m. this evening. They said Doncaster supporters who had purchased tickets for the trip to Bolton, which is now being postponed, can claim a refund from the box office at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. You'll need to return your ticket. The box office can be contacted on and then given their number for the box office. And JB, what's your thoughts on that situation there at Bolton, which I've read out, and their game being postponed against Doncaster Rovers tomorrow?
Well, first of all, can I just put you right on James? It's James Anderson, not Henderson. I thought let's just clear that one up. The Bolton situation, news to me, because they've been getting most of their games played. I can understand their stance with the youngsters. They're playing. It's a lot to ask. 3 games in so many things, but if you go back to the old days, a lot of players used to play 3 games in certain days, and they even used to get tired. I think my attitude with football is if you're a professional footballer, you want to play, and really I think I can understand Bolton's predicament, but to call it off with 24 hours notice stinks to high heaven, to be quite honest. But having said all that, I think as long as they don't get, I think Bolton have suffered enough punishment. There's no doubt about that. They've had tough times. You look at the situation at Bury as well. If you've not seen the video, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come out now at half time, I think. Well, no, it's not. It's just a rerun. Actually, he's not back out at half time. It's still the players haven't come back out. But I was just about to say, Russ, that the situation at Bury is very more desperate than the Bolton one, because they've had all their games postponed, including the game against Sheffield Wednesday in the Cup. It's the game against Gillingham is called off this weekend. It's bleak times, and as I said on YouTube, I did a YouTube video. If you haven't checked it out, folks, I'd check it out now on YouTube after the match, because it's important, and I play some of the interaction between one of the footballers down there and Steve Dale, the chairman. And Steve Dale, to me, for what I could hear, it's an interview with Jim White on the radio, and it was very fiery, and the feeling really goes beyond that as well. The fans, there's only a small fan base, Bury, and I'm from the northwest. I'm from just outside of Manchester, just above, in fact, in Burnley, and Bury's on the way into Manchester. And it's a bit like Burnley in the sort of town it is, how big the town is, and the football club's at the heart of that community. And if that goes, I think the town of Bury dies. Burnley were in a similar situation 35 years ago, Russ, and we had to win to survive. It was different reasons why we had to survive. We had to win a game to stay alive as a club. Bury's plight is a lot more precarious financially as well. It's been mismanaged by the chairman, by a previous chairman, and of course Steve Dale hasn't particularly endeared himself either. There's a lot of people wanting selling the club and just keeping the club on at the moment. They've got fixtures to really try and fulfill here, and they're not in that unfortunate position to find out, and it's really sad, really, to be fair. But I do have a lot of sympathy for both Bolton and Rochdale's plight, but I think Bolton could and possibly should have played that game tomorrow night, I believe.
Well, thank you very much for your views there. And yes, as JB mentioned, Bury's plights a lot more problemised than the one at Bolton. Bury should have been playing my local side Rotherham United tomorrow at the ACL New York Stadium, but that game was called off because they not received any information about the financial running of the club from the Bury chairman Steve Dale. The players are now almost ready to start the second half. I can see on the monitor in front of me that it looks like Wolves are about to fetch on Adama Traore at half time. Let's find out who is replacing at the start of the second half by switching back to our match commentator, and that is JB. JB, the second 45 minutes is all yours.
Thanks a lot, Russ, and welcome back, everybody. As Russ says, Traore is going to come on. He's going to replace number 2, Doherty. So Doherty's going off, and so Traore is going to come on. So I don't think Doherty had his best first half by far. So it's definitely a tactical change. I think they could do with a little bit more. And it's Manchester United kick off, attacking the goal to our left now in the second half. United have made no changes, so that one change now. Traore's on. So just to confirm now, it's Patricio, Bolly, Cody, Bennett, Johnny Otto, Martinho, Neves, Dendonka, Traore. Wolves come forward, but it's with De Gea now. Jota and Jimenez. As for Manchester United, let's just recap there. 11 De Gea in goal, Shaw at left back, Maguire and Lindelof the 2 centre halves. Wan-Bissaka plays on the right. In the midfield, it's a 3-man midfield with McTominay, Pogba in the centre, and James, and then it's Rashford, Lingard and Martial up top for United. Just to run through the benches very quickly as United just break on the right hand side, but the ball's out of play and it will be a throw in midway inside the Wolves half to Wolves. So Wolves have got left then. They've got left Neto, Gatune, Morgan Gibbs White, John Ruddy the goalkeeper should Patricio get injured, Saiss and Venegari. They've already put Traore on, so they've used one of their 3 as Wolves go on the break here. We'll just break off for a second because we've got Traore bursting down the right here for Wolves, and they're on the attack here, so we'll break off for a second before giving the United subs out. Neves heading the ball on, a little flick in there towards the edge of the penalty area, nicely worked. And Martinez laying it in there. Chance inside the area for Wolves and right across. And then in the end, it was hooked away for a corner as Jimenez came in there. And it was hooked up almost virtually the crossbar there by a United defender. There's a player down on the far side of the field there, number 18. And it's Diego Jota who's down there, I think on the far side. And it might have been from when Otto took the throw. And James... oh, I tell you what, he's a lucky boy if he stays on the field there, James. He's already been booked, and if VAR are checking this, I'd be worried now if I was a Manchester United fan, because Daniel James here, if this has been referred to VAR, he could have been sent off the field. I hope VAR was checking that. I don't think they are. That might have been a boob there from the officials. Well, certainly Daniel James, if he stayed on there, I think he's very, very lucky. I have to be honest. Controversy here at Welling here at the start of the second half. We've played almost 3 minutes of that second half. Wolves, I think, have a corner, but... Daniel James there, very fortunate in my opinion not to, well, first of all, not to maybe have, he could have seen a straight red for that. I've seen straight reds given for that, and it reminds me of the challenge that Chairman's put in the other week for Southampton against Manchester United, which could have broke the Ben Mee's leg. But anyway, Wolves have a corner, but somehow United have somehow escaped with still 11 men on the field. I'd like to get Russ's view on that in the VAR booth. Of course, he's down in London there next to the studios. John, just to remind you, the VAR referee is Paul Tierney and the referee is John Moss. Just to remind you of the colours. Wolves in the old gold, Manchester United in their traditional red with white shorts. Wolves in the old gold and black shorts. But that should have been a red card there for Daniel James if spotted firstly by John Moss. I mean, VAR's checking everything. They should be alerting John Moss. I mean, obviously the referee's got the casting vote, of course. We all have to accept that. But Wolves will feel very aggrieved that Manchester United are not down to 10 men, but they're playing a little bit more better. Traore winning possession from McTominay. And Wolves going in very good on the 50-50s at the moment. They're looking a lot more bright here. But here's Manchester United again. And this is Lingard now. Wan-Bissaka now down the side. Bissaka turns inside. James is an outlet on the far side. And he's been roundly booed by the Wolves supporters as the ball's laid in towards Lingard inside the area by Wan-Bissaka on the right. But in the end, Willy Boly can clear up and get it away for Wolves. Well, that would have been a turn-up if Daniel James had played a part in that second goal, because in my opinion he should be off the field. Anyway, here's Traore, the half-time substitute for Wolves. Remember, he replaced Doherty. But I have to be honest, I mean, that was a real opportunity there for Jesse Lingard. There's James, right foot, round the corner. Lovely cross from the right foot of Wan-Bissaka, and he's gone to hit that on a volley on the right foot. And I think he didn't realise how much time he actually had there. He could have actually controlled it, and in fact it scooped off his right leg, side of his right leg, and onto the side of his face. And that would have killed off Wolves for sure if that had gone in. But Manchester United will feel that they've got out of jail there on certainly on a few occasions, and that's another foul there. Daniel James in for some very harsh treatment tonight, and maybe, well, Neves is booked, but the man he fouled should be off the field. Well, it's the biggest mistake of the night so far, says Russ Vernon. He's very shocked. I didn't think there was much in that at all. James has been booked for diving. I think he's conned the ref there a little bit, booking Ruben Neves. But I think he should be off the field there, in my opinion, the youngster from Swansea. I really do. It was a really poor challenge, and it reminded me of the opening day of the season when Jay Evans went in hard on Ben Mee, and he didn't even get even a yellow card, but they don't have a red card thing. It's 1-0, and I should tell you on the comment section, that's abusing of the comment section. I do tell the score every 2 or 3 minutes. But we've got major incidents here. We've got to talk about the major incidents. They're getting tuned. If you watch the YouTube video, we do not allow for questions like that. I know it's blatantly obvious. Anyway, Wan-Bissaka laying it in there towards Lingard, who can't get on the end of it, and it's gone out for a goal kick. And it still remains 1-0 with 6 minutes of the second half played. As the ball's played in. Don't dictate how I commentate. That's all I'll say on that matter. Been doing this for 4 years. In fact, that should have been a Manchester United corner because it came off a defender. And a goal kick has been given. Listen, I've been commentating for nearly 4 years on this channel, so I know what I'm doing. I'm very experienced. What we need, comment on the match if you've seen it before. We will give the score every 3 to 4 minutes. That I promise you. If you watch the YouTube video and the do's and don'ts of the comment section, you'll understand why I get a little bit frustrated every single other game. People are always asking the score, and I give it 4 or 5, give it score like 3 or 4 times in 10-minute spells. Give the score every 2 to 3 minutes during the match. It just really winds me up a little bit sometimes. No disrespect, but it does. Anyway, 52.5 minutes got it. Still 1-0 to Manchester United. In case you've joined us late. And but the reason why we weren't giving the score out because we had some controversy and we had a couple of chances. The second half's been lively, and here's number 17 now. Is it for Wolves? No, it's not. It's in fact Traore for Wolves, and he goes down, and Wolves get a free kick deep inside territory, Manchester United territory, 30 yards from goal. Harry Maguire, the culprit this time, cut in from the right hand side. Went past short. McTominay, in fact, went in there, and then Maguire just finished him off. That's a foul, despite his protestations. Wolves obviously unhappy that Daniel James hasn't been sent off for a second yellow. In fact, a straight red for that challenge on Diego Jota at the start of the second half, which has caused a lot of uproar on here. As Traore now is up on his feet. And Martinez's going to take this to the right of the 6-yard box. To the edge of the D, sorry, not the 6-yard box. It's outside the box on the right hand side. Martinez swings it into the danger zone. Flick on it, it's gone off the post. And did that cross the line? It was Jimenez's header. Still not away yet. Bolly's header back in from the second ball on the left hand side. Wolves have really reacted superbly to the start of the second half and have really gone at Man United. And Traore has made a big difference. And here's his cross again, headed only half away this time by Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Now here's the ball in again from this time Ruben Neves towards the back post. And it's another corner hooked away by Maguire. But Jimenez has hit the post for Wolves. Great free kick from Martinez. Inch perfect. Jimenez got the first header in, and that was going in, and in fact it hits the left centre of the left hand upright and stays out. In fact, it comes off De Geer's arm and squirms away to the left hand side, and it remains 1-0. Well, it squirmed away to the left hand side. It's a corner on the right, and it's Martinez going short. Back to Martinez from the corner. Low ball into the edge of the area. Chance here for a shooting opportunity. It's gone in from over 20 yards. It's 1-1. And Molineux goes mad. And it's Neves, the man who'd been booked, has equalised. And Molineux goes ballistic. Wolves go ballistic. And they played so well. 10 minutes in the second half gone. And for that real positive way they've started the second half, it's a goal they've richly deserved. Manchester United have been pegged back to 1-1 here. VAR is checking the goal maybe for a potential offside. I don't think there's anything personally wrong with it, because I don't think the goalkeeper's been interfered with at all. There's just no way in the world he was going to get there, even with two Wolves players in front of him. I think that's a perfectly good goal. And Wolves deservedly are level. They are checking the goal. They do every other game, every second now. Be a real travesty if this is chalked off. John Moss just checking here. But it's 1-1 as things stand at the moment. They are checking for offside here. Is it from the initial cross? Well, I'm not so sure. The lines are moving, which makes it very difficult to tell, really. This could be some controversy here. We've had it, 10 minutes, 11 minutes gone. We've had so much controversy, and a potential offside is being checked. And there's going to be millimetres in this. This is where this is where the grey area of VAR does really come into its own. I mean, they're not giving us the best angle to see it from. They should be showing it from the camera line with the line. I think that would give us a more telling angle. It's hard to tell whether he's offside or not. We're looking at it from an 18-yard camera angle here on our monitors. Russ is checking it down there in London. And the goal's given! The goal's given, it's 1-1. So the goal does stand, and it is 1-1, and it would have been a travesty from the game point of view if that goal was taken away from Neves, because it was a short fire shot, and the flag stayed down from the initial play. So it wasn't the actual goal itself was the problem. It was from the throw-in initially, or from the corner, from the original corner kick. That was the thing. And Neves' first goal of the season is an absolute cracker from the edge of the penalty area. A terrific shot in off the crossbar. And Wolves deservedly, on the way that they've played in this second half, are level, one apiece. And this game as a spectacle has really hotted up since half-time. And here is Martinez. Martinez playing it infield. Traore really coming on in the second half down that right-hand channel has really made a huge difference here. 1-1. And a terrific game here at Molineux. I'm absolutely loving this second half now. Live from Molineux, the JB Claret Twitch channel. Hope you're enjoying it at home. And here come Wolves again, looking to get forward. And Traore now having plenty of the ball in this second half. Down the right-hand side into the area, cuts inside. Traore shoots with his left foot, but he shoots wide of the right-hand upright. Goes behind for a goal kick. It remains Wolves 1, Manchester United 1. And Wolves here in complete control of this game now. United really haven't got going in the second half as an attacking force. 58.5 minutes exactly now gone. And a game that really took a while to come to the boil. My word, this second half. This opening quarter of the second half. Boy, is it really livened up. And how? That's fair enough. That's fair enough. If you don't know me from YouTube, that's fair enough. But you can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you want, because we'll be back there permanently after August. What a piece. What a game. Plenty of controversy. And, well, United, who should have been down to 10 men for that horrible tackle from Daniel James. Remember, they haven't beaten United. They haven't won 3 straight results against United since 1980. In fact, they won the League Cup. So, if you believe in fate, and they were also last in Europe that year as well, so if you believe in fate, that might happen again tonight. And here come Wolves with the flags up for offside. Jimenez was offside, so free kick is the correct decision. I do apologise, the game in turn. It was just that we had to go with the incidents at the time. This is the right-footed drive from Neves that brings it to 1-1. And it was a terrific effort. In off the underside of the bar. De Gea down away to his left. Couldn't stop it. And it nestled sweetly into the right-hand corner. And just look at the emotion pouring, not from the Wolves, just from the Wolves players, but from the coaching staff as well. They're all together side here at Wolverhampton Wanderers. And it shows there in the level of their passion for the game. And they've really come out in the second half and really come to the party. And have got themselves that equaliser there. Dominance and play of the second half anyway, as richly deserved. It's his 13th career goal for Wolves, and 10 of those 13 goals he's got for Wolves have come outside the penalty area. So that's a great statistic for Ruben Neves. He's a great shooter of the ball outside the box. And now we're gone. Wolves 1, Manchester United 1. McTominay now on halfway. Finds one Besanca. Besanca now running down this near side, or far side I should say. James, who's still being moved into the area. Oh, he evaded a little deflection on the cross. Evaded Martial, who was lucky for his second goal. McTominay then shoots with his right foot edge of the area. It's blocked away by, might have been Martinho, and it's out for a throw midway inside the Wolves half to United. Well, the wheels are just starting to come a little awry now for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Awry now for just starting to loosen a little bit for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Well, we're in for a grandstand finish to this second half. There's no doubt about that. Foul by Traore. Adama Traore. And Marcus Rashford, 3-kick to United. Deep inside Wolves territory. About 15 yards outside the penalty area, but it's on the left-hand channel. And very soon you'll be able to vote for man of the match. 65 minutes is when we start the voting. It gives you a good frame time to think about it. Get your votes in. And whoever gets the votes at the end will win. Don't forget, if you haven't been with us before, the way you vote is this. I'll tell you in a moment, because we've got a free kick here to Manchester United. This action really in the second half has been non-stop Mardi Gras. John Stuttgart commentating, JB here at Molineux. It's going to be Rashford on the left-hand side, right-footed. He went for glory, and I think it was the wrong decision. There was about 7 or 8 United players waiting for a cross, and Rashford, I think, trying to be too greedy, hit it with his right foot, but went way past the near side of the left-hand post. And a disappointing end to what looked like a promising set piece there for Manchester United. So it remains Wolves 1, Manchester United 1, as we just wax lyrical at this goal here. Outside the D, right foot, just almost central. And it's a marvellous finish by Ruben Neves with his right foot. De Gea might have got the slightest feather on it, but it was not enough, evidently. And with the aid of the crossbar, nestled sweetly in the right-hand corner. And here come Manchester United on the break here with Luke Shaw, but the referee's already blown up. There may have been a slight advantage, but the referee just starting to get a little bit fussy there. But it's a free kick to United now. I don't think they're going to waste this opportunity twice, surely. I will tell you about the voting for man and match, because we're past 63 minutes, and as soon as we get a break in play, I'll be able to tell you, as the ball is hooked away by Bennett, and out for a throw-in, level with the area for Manchester United to level the Wolves area, edge of the Wolves area to Manchester United. Just to remind you, name of your player, and then hashtag it with the hashtag JBMLTM, please, and that is how you get your vote counted for man in the match. So don't forget, name a player and then hashtag it with the hashtag JBMLTM, please. But you've got about 90 seconds before you can vote, but we'll tell you when to vote as well, and Russ will be on hand as well. Our presenter tonight in Downing, London. Lucky fella. Yeah, but mind you, I'm enjoying a very good fair here in the Midlands, and it's been a marvellous second half, and I tell you what, that first 15 minutes of the second half has been worth the admissions money alone. I have to say, if you're a neutral and you've paid good money to watch the game tonight, you wouldn't have had value for money in the first half, large periods of the first half, and in the second half you certainly got value for money. All action, all controversy, you'd have got your money's worth, and here's more money's worth perhaps here as Wolves go on the break down the left hand side inside the area, ball back across, and again good defending there by Harry Maguire. Ball laid back though towards halfway inside the United half, and Wolves moving the ball around a bit on the left hand side, just being patient with the ball, just passing into the ball around as much as they can. But obviously they're going to try and win this game now with risk, with reward. They're going to risk for a reward, but they also face humiliation if it all goes wrong. United can be so deadly on the break, as we saw last week against Chelsea when they were chasing the game. They allowed Rashford a cheap third goal, if you remember. Mind you, it was a game that we unfortunately didn't. It was a goal, unfortunately, we couldn't bring you commentary off because we had some technical difficulties. So, as I said, I apologise for last week. As well, 65 minutes gone here at Molineux. What a game it has been. Our first Monday night match of the season. The game coming to you live next month. Champions League football's back on the channel. Also, we'll have the England games as well. The first two England games of the season, both qualifiers. And of course, we'll have all the best build-up for England as well, if they qualify. Should they qualify, which they should do, for Euro 2020, which the semi-finals and final, incidentally, are being both played at Wembley Stadium. Here's Jota now, playing it to the edge of the area. Now a real chance here for Otto. He goes down inside the area. And there was no great appeals, in fact, from any of the Wolves players. And John Moss seemed convinced enough just to let the game breathe. And here's Rashford, his team taken out there. That's going to be a free kick. Bennett will be summoned to by the referee, and quite duly will be booked there. Bennett took out Rashford on the near side. Clear foul. So Ryan Bennett now becomes the latest man into the referee's notepad. And man in the match is now open for voting. Remember, name of your player, hashtag it with the word hashtag JBMLTM, please, and your vote will count. If not, I'll have to have the casting vote. Anyway, Paul Pogba into the penalty area. He goes down. The referee thinks about it, gives the penalty. Connor Cody stuck out a leg. And it's going to be a penalty to Manchester United, barring, obviously subject to VAR check, of course. From where I was sitting, it did look clear-cut. Here's Pogba now. Gets away from there. There's a couple of plays a little bit wide to Martial. Oh, I don't know. I think, well, did Cody leave a leg out? No, it is a penalty. I mean, look there. It is a penalty. I thought from the first angle it did look a little bit suspect, but I think Connor Cody's look on his face said it all. Pogba does now have a reputation how to milk things a little bit, but I think it was a penalty. Now the next question is, will he go on that slow run-up of his? Scored 4, missed one of his last 5. It's a shortish run-up. It's going to be right-footed. And Pogba's gaining the bird from the crowd here as he prepares to take the penalty. Will he go short? Well, it's a short run-up. And it's a shortish run-up. And it's saved! Saved brilliantly! Diving away to his right by Liri Patricio. He's got a great penalty-saving record, certainly at international level. Ask Steven Gerrard and the like in 2006 when they had their penalty saved by Patricio in the quarterfinals of the World Cup against Portugal. Patricio certainly got a great reputation of being a great penalty stopper. And well, it's all happened here in the second half. The first half was a bit of a down squid apart from Martial's goal. The second half has been completely different to that. A possible red card not given against Danny James. An equaliser of pure genius from Ruben Neves. A penalty given to United, and this was not a penalty of pure genius from Paul Pogba. He hit it straight down the goalkeeper's throat. Poor penalty, wasn't in the corner enough. A great height for the goalkeeper. Went to the left corner, Pogba. Goalkeeper gets right, dived to his right, and has made a marvellous save. Russ has made the first bidding for man of the match. Ruben Neves is the shout. But Rui Patricio there with a magnificent save. And Paul Pogba there. Well, that will not be the best penalty he ever takes in his career. That was not a good penalty. 1-1 it remains. There's some game here. And here's James, who's been roundly buried into the air. Where he goes. James gets his shot off. That would be rubbing salt into the wound a little bit, because he should be off the field. Should be red carded really, but it's a corner to Manchester United. I tell you what, if he had scored there, it would not have gone down well in most of Wolverhampton tonight. Maguire up for the back here. As the corner comes in, it's going to be Luke Shaw to bring it in from the far side. Pogba's header, looking to atone for his penalty miss. As we go past the 70th minute mark now. I don't know what you mean by that, Sesson Yar. We're live here on Twitch. This is where we are. We don't show any match footage. If that's what you're referring to, then we don't show match footage because it's not. Which is not why we do it. We do it because there's a lot of blind listeners as well that listen to us, and they rely on us to bring the commentary as audio. So it's a live audio stream. So let's get that straight. Anyway, 1-1 it is. 71 minutes gone. A foul against Martinho on Luke Shaw. On the left hand side for Manchester United, it is 1-1, and it's all happened here in the second half. The penalty just a moment or two back from Pogba saved, and referee's not happy with the taking of the free kick. Just getting a little bit too fussy now again, John Moss. He had a great first half. He's not had a great second half, in fairness to him. Missed a blatant red card for Daniel James. But I think most of the time, I think he's been a little bit more fussy in the second half, to be fair, John Moss. But apart from that, I think he's done okay. Here's James, who should be off the field. I think John Moss should have shown him a red card for that. I've seen challenges less than that. I've seen red. I think they should introduce a system in rugby league where they should be put on report and put in front of a disciplinary hearing for tackles like that. That way you get the players then not to try anything stupid as much as what Daniel James did. And I think the same should go for simulation too. I mean, in rugby league, if there's a misdemeanour, the player that commits that misdemeanour is put on report and is subject to a disciplinary hearing. I think the same should happen in football, and I think the FA should adopt the rugby league approach. Meanwhile, back in here at Molineux, the score is 1-1 with about 17.5 minutes to go. Corner on the left hand side to be taken by Rashford. A deep one towards Pogba on the far side. It will come out to Wan-Bissaka, strikes it right footed, but he strikes it way over the bar. In fact, it might have hit the top tier of the big two-tiered stand away to my left. And a goal kick it is to Wolverhampton Wanderers. It remains 1 apiece. This is the penalty. The goalkeeper has 1 foot behind the line, so it's a legal save. There's nothing illegal about that. At least 1 foot has to be on or behind the line for it to count as an actual save. And the goalkeeper was well within the laws. A perfectly good save. He did not move off the line before the kick was taken, so it was a fair penalty. They were checking obviously on VAR, and it remains 1 apiece. If he had moved off the line, it would be deemed as encroachment in certain circles, and it would have been a retake. So 1 apiece. And here's Cody now for Wolves, who conceded that penalty. Must be the most relieved man in the ground, I would have thought, Connor Cody, at this moment in time. And here's Traore's introduction's made a big difference. United yet to make a substitution, by the way. And I better read out their substitutes. I was meaning to do that at the start of the second half. And because we've had so much drama in the 25 minutes we've been playing in this second half, I haven't had a chance to read out the substitutes bench. But here's Rashford now for United. And he finds Jesse Lingard, who in turn finds Wan-Bissaka on the right hand side. Wan-Bissaka now. James is being booed still by a lot of the Wolves contingent. McTominay back to James. James hits it off a defender, going to throw in. So just to remind you of that substitutes bench for United, they've yet to use one yet. We're into the 75th minute. They've got Mata, Pereira, Young, Romero, Greenwood, Matic and Trinazza the substitute, the centre backs, I should say, as the throw is taken by Wan-Bissaka. And it's knocked away here. He won here last year, Wan-Bissaka, with Crystal Palace. And they won that game, in fact, in controversial circumstances, you may recall here. Wolves have a great record against the bigger sides, and it remains 1-1 then. And at the moment it would be 2 points for Wolves after 2 games. And Pogba and Rashford, well, Rashford just asking Pogba, why did you take it? I think Rashford's understandably upset because he wanted to take the penalty. Just shows, I mean, the unity is not really there from the first game really when they played as a team and played so impressively. Maybe they flattered to deceive a little bit last Sunday, who knows. They haven't been at the races second half, and Lingard has been in and out, and he's down the left hand side a little bit. And now Rashford's cross is a poor one. That's going to be out of play, I think. That will go out of play, yes, absolutely, for sure. Cross was never troubling the scorers. He was more in danger of troubling the corner flag than the goal that left with the cross from Rashford, who I have to say, really, apart from 1 or 2 flashes of real genius in the first half, second half he's been poor. Martial's hardly been in it at all in the second half. Nuno Espirito Santo is his actually his real name, was put on a 4-man shortlist for the Premier League Manager of the season last year. In a more that would have been dominated certainly by Jurgen Messrs Klopp and Guardiola. Klopp winning the European Cup, Guardiola the domestic quadruple, of course. They won the Charity Shield and League Cup and FA Cup and Premier League, and they only beat Liverpool to that by a point. Liverpool now consoled themselves with 2 trophies of their own, the Super Cup and of course the European Cup back in early June when they beat Tottenham in Madrid. Where Bolly concedes a throw on the far side. It's a throw in now. We're inside the last quarter of an hour now of the game, plus any stoppage time that remains. This is Martial, plays it into Rashford. Rashford, edge of the area, tries to get it off with his right foot. Might break to Martial, but the ball's going to run it, or was running out of play, but Martial's kept it on the right. Tries to cross in there, but he's not going to fool Connor Cody, who makes a really good tackle. This time he didn't dive in or stick a leg out. And James gets another chance on the right, but it's out of play for a corner off the defender. So another corner then to Manchester United. We're inside the final 13 minutes plus any stoppage time. And all of a sudden now Manchester United started to turn up the power a little bit and put Wolves under the cosh a little bit now as we go into the final, as I say, 12 and a half minutes that we've got remaining here at Molineux. And a terrific night, a terrific second half of terrific football. Shaw playing it in, but he's lost possession. And now Wolves are a little bit guilty, and it's back to the old ways of the first half here, where both teams are guilty of giving each other possession. But here's a good run there by James, and James's cross is charged down. It's going to be a throw in now, just by the far corner quadrant to Manchester United on that left hand side. And United fans on the far side, on the bottom tier of the stand away opposite me, well, there must be at least 4,500 of them, and they've got a good view of it all. 12 minutes left to play then. 1-1. Won't be the worst result in the world, a draw for Manchester United, but Wolves, they don't usually do well in recent seasons anyway against the men from Molineux. But still 12 minutes for either team to find a winning goal, and it wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility if that was to be the case here. Martial penalised. And we'll be with you until about 10 o'clock, just before 10 o'clock this evening. So we'll be finishing up around 10 o'clock. And then I'll need to lie down after that, as Pogba wins another header inside his own half. Terrific second half here on the JB Claret Twitch channel. And Wolves, well, they weren't the better side in the first half, but in the second half they've been. I think Manchester United deserved to shed the first half, certainly. Wolves have certainly given a roll in the second half, but obviously United have had better of the last 5 minutes or so. That's my opinion of things. Me and Russell have a little bit of differing opinions, but I think either side can win it. Manchester United prepared to make their first change with 10.5 minutes plus any stoppage time left here at Molineux. And it's Juan Mata who's going to be coming on for Manchester United down below me here at Molineux, as the ball is hooked in there towards Traore, winning it quite fairly, wins it very well, turns away from McTominay as if he didn't exist, and here he goes to show that little burst of pace down the right hand side, ball in there, and it's hooked away by Maguire on the edge of his own 6-yard area, and out to play on the near side for a throw into Wolves midway inside the Manchester United half. Adama Traore is showing some great footwork, some great pace, just the final ball that just lacked a little bit there. But he's starting to show why he's really made the impact. Jesse Lingard has been replaced by Juan Mata. So he now enters the fray. It remains, as I say, 1-1. It's been a marvellous game of football. A pleasure to bring it to you here on the Twitch channel. Both the game on Saturday that Russ commentated on and tonight's game will be uploaded a bit later on, or early tomorrow morning on YouTube for your listening pleasure for those who don't have Twitch. We'll load them up as a double upload for you. The game we were due to commentate on Villa and Bournemouth, that's now to be postponed for personal reasons, so I won't be getting that, but hopefully that double upload will soften the blow to that. And I have to say, the second half tonight has been terrific entertainment, fair play, and more especially the Wolves. They've really made a real fight of it second half, and Traore has really made a difference down the right. He's on the ball now actually, but as I say, it's just a little bit of patient build up now for Wolves, and Traore now runs down the line and shows a clean peel of rails to Shaw now as he gets to the byline. Needs a good cross though, it's a deep one, this time header one on the far side, but it's well kept out. It was Johnny Otto in fact with the header. And on the left, just to the left of the penalty area, it was a comfortable save for David De Gea. One of his more comfortable moments, comfortable pieces of work he's had to put on this evening. David De Gea. Traore now has it for Wolves. Back to Bennett. Bennett once more. Now Traore takes possession. Now Neves, who scored that terrific equaliser to bring the game to 1-1, finds Johnny Castro Otto, and he plays the ball back, and really Wolves now looking to score a second goal. Left it till very, very late in the cup tie to sink Manchester United back in March. Can they do the same again here today, or tonight even? Final game of the weekend, and certainly the first half disappointed as a spectacle, but as a neutral, I've really been impressed with the way the game's gone second half. As a neutral's point of view, though, Wolves will think themselves very unfortunate not to be playing against 10 men as opposed to 11 men, when Daniel James should have been sent off at the start of the second half for a horror challenge there on Diego Jota, which neither John Moss or even the VAR ref chose to ignore, which both of them actually chose to ignore, but they've got an equaliser, and then United got a penalty rightly given against Cody for a foul on Paul Pogba. United would a free kick there. I think it was hands against Wan-Bissaka, was it? Well, he's going to get booked regardless. 7 minutes to play, and it's still 1-1. Just going back to Paul. Yeah, it was just a deliberate handball. His hands, he stuck out an arm, and that's, in my language, a yellow card offence. So a deserved yellow card for him. Wan-Bissaka. It remains 1-1. Wolves have a free kick. Going back to the penalty incident, Conor Cody stuck out a leg. It was a penalty, but Paul Pogba's right-footed penalty towards the left-hand corner was well saved. We're going to see Neto come on for Wolves. He wears number 7. And he will be coming on in just a second or two. So Neto will have to wait a little while because the free kick's now being taken. Into the penalty area it goes. Little heads on. A little game of head tennis, but it comes away quite comfortably for David De Gea. He bowls the ball out onto the left-hand side and he finds Luke Shaw. Shaw down the left-hand side. 1-1 it remains. The game live coming to you. And at the moment it's Ruben Neves who's on course. Ross Burden's choice for man of the match. He's going to win the man of the match. You've got 7 minutes, 6 minutes now to try and change the vote. If it's a draw between two different, one player each, then we go to a deciding vote, which will be decided by yours truly in the commentary box. Here's a chance now for James to get the cross in, and then Wan-Bissaka's cross comes off a defender, and it will be another corner now to Manchester United. They've had a lot of those tonight. And now can Wolves hang on in there? Maguire, McTominay, Pogba, all by the penalty spot. Mata takes the corner. It's a really disappointing corner from the left-hand side, or from the right-hand side I should say, put by Juan Mata. Wolves in to win the ball fairly. There's a United player down, but no head injury, so Wolves are allowed to play on here. And here's an opportunity now. Wolves down the far side, and they've got a elbow load here. They can find the shit, and a shot comes in, and it hit the crossbar, I think. Terrific right-footed shot. And James, well, maybe a little bit of a poetic justice there. But there's no doubt in my mind he won the ball fairly there, Jota. And then when the ball came in, it was a real opportunity. There's a bit of an elbow load on the far on that near side, in fact. And in fact, it was Dendoncker who had the final shot. Patricio is now man of the match, according to Russ's friend, and he has been hashtagged. So Patricio and Neves have got a vote each. Neto has now come off to replace Diego Jota. And Jota has gone off on the opposite side to where Neto has gone off. Or gone on, rather. 1 apiece. The big game at the weekend, Liverpool-Arsenal, 5:30 Saturday evening. We will not be covering it. We will be taking a week's break, and then we'll be back with live action on the 31st of August, and hopefully all matches by then, once the YouTube live ban has been cleared, and an unfair one at that has been clear. We'll be all should have the green light to go again with the live commentaries on YouTube as opposed to Twitch. But it's been a nice little spell to do it on Twitch, and for 7 or 8 games here on Twitch as well, and plus the European Cup final at the back end of the season. Anyway, there sweeps the ball away. Maguire's back pass just was putting United in trouble just for a fraction of a second. Just 3 1/4 minutes left for steady stoppage time, and I might have a good casting vote here because both players have deserved man in the match. Might be difficult for me to cast a vote here because I think we might end up having to give it as a joint reward, because I think both of them have played a huge part in Wolves getting something out of this game this evening. A terrific goal to put Wolves level, and then a penalty save to keep Wolves level. It's been that sort of an evening. And anyway, here's Neto now, right hand side. Neto now will run in his man, and it comes off him last. I think it might be a United ball. No, it's not. It's off Maguire. It's a throw to Wolves. 2.5 minutes for stoppage time to play. Throwing level at the edge of the area. We'll be with you until about just before 10 o'clock on Twitch. Here's Adoma, Traore. Back to Bennett. Bennett will cross from the right hand side. Into the penalty area it goes. Hooked away by a lot of wall of red. It's a foul there. A free kick given. And Maguire now. So it's one vote apiece now for Neves, Maguire and Patricio. We're going to see Greenwood onto the field. And James, who should have been sent off in the first period of the second half, he's going to be replaced by Greenwood. And he's getting the bird, and quite rightly so, from a lot of the Wolves fans. I think a lot of neutrals would agree with that. Definitely was a red card offence. Also, Rashford has gone off. So we'll see the last of him now tonight. And on in his place is Andreas Pereira. It looks as if United are happy with their lot at the moment. Well, maybe not. Here's Matty now for United. Finds Shaw. Down the left-hand channel. McTominay in a bit of space. In fact, it was Pereira, sorry. Gets the ball out to the far side. Wan-Bissaka, who's had plenty of the ball on the right-hand channel this evening. Has played okay. Done really well. Has made some good busting runs. He's not in the running for man of the match tonight. That we can tell you. But this is Martial, who scored the opening goal. But it's not to be. Offside. So offside given. Remains a one apiece. We're inside the last minute. And now I've got a big decision to make here. As well as Maguire's played, I think he's got to be out. I think we have to rule him out the running. Although I haven't said that yet. So it's no Harry Maguire, I'm afraid. We're going to give the man of the match to possibly, I have to say, purely and simply, I mean, Patricio's gone close with the penalty save. But apart from that, hasn't had much else to do. So on that basis, with 10 seconds of the game of normal time to go, and there's a possibility of 4 minutes, we'll announce the man of the match, and I think you know which one it's going to be. But let's have a just wait a moment. Here's Manchester United on the break. It's Greenwood on the far side. He's lost out, and Wolves can bring it away. And I can now announce I get the casting vote, and I'm going to go for Ruben Neves with his right foot rasper, who's played really well in the second half and deservedly gets our man of the match award. So the JB man of the match is Ruben Neves for Wolves, but I have to say Rui Patricio ran him so close with the penalty save. And Maguire, unfortunately, even if Tom voted for him, was nowhere near possibly man of the match. I think there were far better performance, certainly from the Wolves' point of view, as Jimenez comes off. He hit the post before the equaliser, you know. Could have had one himself. As we know, and Cutrone will come on. Well, we've had a minute of the 4. That might be time added on at the end of time added on, because it's a minimum of 4. I should stress it's a minimum of 4. So John Moss has said he can play a little bit more at a time if he wants. To add probably 30 seconds on for that, possibly at the end. Free kick to Manchester United. And they're not in area to take it on the edge of their own penalty box. Just to reconfirm, the JB man of the match is Ruben Neves for Wolves. Here's Luke Shaw now for Manchester United. One apiece. Looks like it's going to be a point apiece. United's 100% record falling by the wayside, but they'll still remain undefeated after 2 matches and have the same amount of points as Manchester City. As Pereira takes possession now, plays it down the near side, and it's Mata now takes possession. Or Maguire, sorry, takes possession. Now Mata has it on the left hand side. Can he get the cross in there? It's too deep. Patricio's all day long. 2 of the 4 minutes gone in the second half of stoppage time. Remains one apiece. Well, he'll be disappointed there. His team was in a very good ascendancy going into the break, and then it all fell apart really within 20 minutes of the restart. Although they could have easily been down to 10 men if the referee and the VAR official had worked together to get Daniel James sent off for what looked a very horrible challenge, a massively overzealous and crude challenge. Throwing taken quickly. Did look a little bit suspiciously like a foul throw, but the referee allowed it to go on. VAR can't check things like that, unfortunately, or give any decisions, but that's down to the referee's discretion. There are certain aspects of the game that the VAR officials can't get involved with. John Moss is going to make the decisions for himself. 1 minute remains of the 4. Throw to United far side, deep inside Wolves territory, almost in line with the edge of the penalty area on the far side. And here's Greenwood. Wan-Bissaka's got it on the overlap. Plays it in there once more. It looks as if United are happy with a point here, considering they could have gone down to 10 men and have had their post hit a couple of times. Pogba could have won it from the penalty spot as well. 30 seconds of stoppage time to go. I should stress it's a minimum of. So we might have a few more seconds more on top of the stoppage time that we're already allocated. Pogba inside the penalty area. Pull back. Chance here for Shaw who shoots and he hits it left-footed and he's straight down the goalkeeper's throat to the left of the D. That was surely the last chance for either side to pinch all 3 points from this game. And Luke Shaw just didn't have the conviction, didn't set himself, hit it through and he hit it low. But it was never going to trouble or fool a goalkeeper of Rui Patricio's undoubted international class. We've played the 4 minutes. We're now into time added on the end of time added on, and that's it. Just 10 seconds over the 4 played. Poor Pogba puts his shirt in his head, over his head. His penalty saved midway through the second half by Patricio. Saves Wolves a point, but it's a point they've truly deserved. They could have had all 3 of the number 9 if Jimenez also hit the post, but United could have been down to 10 men when Daniel James was very crude on Diego Jota. Looked a red card challenge from where I was sitting, but neither VAR or referee John Moss took any notice of that, and he was roundly booed from there on in. But he did get their equaliser not long after Jimenez had hit the post. A terrific 25-yard thunderbolt with his right foot by Ruben Neves, our man in the match, making it 1 apiece. A terrific game of football in the second half. If the first half was not an entertaining spectacular for a neutral, well, the second half certainly made up for all that was dour in the first. United going into it, in fact, into that half-time interval with that 1-0 lead given to them by Martial, his second goal of the season. But as I said, Neves and then a missed Pogba penalty has made it a final score as everyone just shakes hands with each other, and both teams get a good standing ovation from both sets of supporters. The 4,000 United supporters to their team and the 30 or so thousand Wolves supporters to their team. They really raised their game in the second half, and credit to them. And Ruben Neves and Rui Patricio deservedly get the plaudits for me on that one. But Neves, man in the match from us. Pogba walking off absolutely disconsolate with himself, but you know, it was a poor penalty in fairness. But anyway, that's it from me for tonight. I hope you very much enjoyed the commentary. And for the next couple of minutes, for the final couple of minutes of the broadcast, we're going to go back to London and hear from Russ Verdon. But I leave you tonight with the news. And by the way, we'll be away for a couple of weeks now until the 31st of August. So this is our final live commentary until then. I'm going off on my holidays knowing that I've commentated on a magnificent game of football. And I leave you tonight with the news here that Wolves and Manchester United have drawn 1-1 after an eventful second half here. So many incidents and controversies. It's been amazing. So for me, it's good night with the final score here at Molineux. Wolves 1, Manchester United 1, and it's back to Russ for the wrap-up.
Thank you very much, JB, and a fantastic commentary there, and a fantastic game as well. Wolves 1, Man United 1, as JB's just mentioned. Ruben Neves, the man of the match, getting Wolves as equaliser after Martial up for the scoring, and it was a fantastic game to watch, and a fantastic commentary game for JB to finish before we head off on our break here on the JB Clever Twitch and YouTube channels, respectively. As this game will be uploaded there later on today, as will my commentary game from Saturday be uploaded on to there later on this evening as well. The under 23 results for the tonight's games, so today's games in full then. Now they've all finished. It finished Leeds United 3. This is in the Professional Development League 2. Leeds United 3, Millwall 2. Burnley 1, Coventry City 1. Wigan Athletic 1, Bristol City 4. Sheffield United 1, Watford 2. In the Premier League 2, which is the under-23s division from the Premier League, Chelsea 3, Liverpool 0. Leicester City 1, Blackburn Rovers 1. Southampton 0. Derby County 1, Fulham 1, West Bromwich Albion 3, and Swansea 1, Aston Villa 1. So a fantastic commentary once again. The attendance from Molineux, incidentally, I'll just bring you that to you because I don't think JB got that given to him down there was 31,314 in attendance tonight. And I think it was a fantastic game in all. And so I'm going to wrap up it very, very slowly. But that game was fantastic. Pogba missed a penalty after Ruben Neves cast out Anthony Martial's opener after good work from Marcus Rashford and Jesse Lingard. And it's finished at Molineux, where JB has been based. Wolverhampton Wanderers won, Manchester United won on the first Monday Night Football of this new 2019-2020 season here on the JB Claret Twitch and YouTube channel. Thank you very much for listening this evening, guys. We'll wrap up now, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time. So until then, take care, be well, and be safe. Look after yourself, look after each other, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Big games coming up in the Champions League this week for Ajax in their qualifying playoff on Tuesday, and then on Thursday Wolverhampton Wanderers are in Europa League playoff action. They take on Torino in Italy at 8 o'clock. Rangers are away at Legia Warsaw at 7 o'clock in the evening as well. And Celtic play AIK at Celtic Park at 7:45. So that's it from me. That's it from JB. We'll be back with you in a couple of weeks' time, right about the 31st of August, that weekend. So until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and from me, here in the studios, and JB and Molineux, we bid you good night, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks' time, where we could see some very good games in the Premier League. We've got the likes of Burnley Liverpool, Man City Brighton, Southampton take on tonight's opponents, Manchester United, and then on this Sunday the 1st, tonight's other opponents, Wolves, they go to Everton, while Arsenal host Tottenham in the North London derby in the Premier League. So until next week, until then, take care. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye bye now.